2007, the year the banks collapsed. Just like 2023.
Wow. It's like, oh.
Recession, we're back, baby.
Yay! We did it, guys!
Hello, everyone. We're not talking about the bank collapses of 2007 and 2008.
Good, because I don't want to.
We're talking about the top 10 movies decided by us. Honorable mentions, only gonna name 3 movies because nothing else came out this year.
Well, we'll see. Like, hit us and then we'll see.
Hot Rod.
Oh, yeah. Ooh,
That
should have been
is pretty
number
honorable.
one, honestly.
Hot Fuzz.
I can't believe that didn't make it.
And Walk Hard.
I also can't believe
Nothing else came out in 2007?
No, nothing else other than what's on our top 10.
That's the rules.
All right, well, cool.
And, gonna spoil it for everybody, this is the first time in our top 10 ranking history that we have a 3-way tie for first place.
Yeah. So, naturally, Michael put his as the official number one.
Well, yeah, because I make the list.
Then you make the list.
Yeah, it does the legwork, I guess.
Starting off top 10, we're going with Disney's Pixar's Ratatouille.
Great film.
Incredible film, Zach. And also by the maker of The Incredibles, Brad Bird. And it's just wild that this movie exists. We're talking about a rat that controls a human person.
Voiced by Patton Oswalt, of all people.
Yeah, and the voice cast is great. It makes Paris look incredible. I'm sure, I've never been to Paris. I'm sure it's a beautiful city.
Yeah, it
But
does.
man, do they really make Paris look awesome in this. It just makes me feel good. It makes me just want to, like, and I get emotional. Get emotional at the end of it.
It is an amazing.
You know?
Would we say Remy is a superhero? Because he has a superpower.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's a good.
I would say yes, 100%.
Okay, well, good. Moving on. We have Lars and the Real Girl. Everyone knows it for Ryan Gosling gaining weight. But and falling in love with an inanimate object.
Yeah.
That's
But-
the part I remember.
I think it is one of the more romantic movies. Like, when you really think of it, it's just a sad sack falling in love with a doll.
But I think more than that, though, too, it's about a community.
Yeah, that's right. It's about family.
Yeah, it's about what we do for the people that are in our lives and that we love who may have something that they're dealing with. And it's just good.
Or if someone's like sort of a shut-in or
Yeah.
antisocial, you can't just be like, well, I'll just never talk to that person ever again.
Yeah.
You got to find ways to connect with them and be like, hey, you like this thing. Let's accept you for who you are
Exactly.
and love you for who you are.
Yeah, it weirdly is also a very, like, sad boy indie movie, but it doesn't really feel like. I mean, it looks like that. It has those vibes, but really the story is, I feel, just like just a really nice story.
It's probably a divisive movie in terms of its ending.
Shouldn't be.
Talking about Danny Boyle's Sunshine,
Oh.
which is just a stacked cast.
Before it was stacked, though.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah, Michelle Yeoh, Chris Evans,
Benedict Wong.
Cillian Murphy,
Yeah, Cillian Murphy.
Oh my God.
Hiroyuki Sanada,
Yes. Oh, man. So many good people. Oh, Rose Byrne?
Rose Byrne.
Chris Evans? Did we say Chris Evans? He deserves 2
Yeah.
times because he's so good.
And it's basically like, what if it was Interstellar without the time travel, but they're going to the sun?
What if Interstellar ended on a real bummer?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
What
There's
if
a big
Interstellar's already ends on a pretty bummer note, but what if it was just like, nah, like we're just real bumming you
Yeah.
out.
And the twist at the end, a lot of people at the time were like, I didn't like that. But I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
I loved how everyone's goal was just like, we have to do the thing.
Yeah.
And then obviously the twist happens and people are like,
Oh.
that's too much for me.
I think people are like, it turns into a horror movie. I'm like, I don't know, just, like traveling towards the sun at an insane speed to maybe restart the sun sounds like a horror film to me
It
anyway.
kind of sets you up for it.
From sci-fi horror to just straight up thriller, number 7, Michael Clayton.
I saw this movie in the theaters. I think I was 13, 14, and I loved it so much. And like, I went to school, and I was like, everyone needs to see Michael Clayton. Like, why? Like, it looks so boring. Like, no, this movie is like intense. It's kind of funny sometimes. Tilda Swinton is amazing in this. I think she won the Oscar for it. It's just a great like conspiracy thriller.
When you think about movies that it feels like that no one heard of and then everyone talked about.
Yeah.
I always think about like this and like it's another George Clooney movie, but like Syriana. I feel like those are the two movies that people were like, I'm like, those don't sound like real movies, and like, but everyone talked about them.
I think it's because of Michael Clayton is not a good title for a movie.
Oh no!
But
they probably lump it in with John Carter. Number 6, we have Superbad. This was for sure the most broiest high school comedy and the best of the bro high school comedies.
Yeah, it feels simple. It's a movie that Seth and Evan right? Evan Goldberg had written like for years, and it's just about their friendship, and it's just nice, the boobs at the end. That's the thing is, it's really just a story about like bros loving each other.
It's a bromance.
We need more of those.
And he's like, we don't say it enough.
Number 5, we have Juno, starring Elliot Page, Jason Bateman on his comeback tour.
That's right.
Yeah.
Written by Cody Diablo. Obviously,
Isn't Diablo Cody?
Diablo Cody, that's right.
There we go.
I always get it mixed
that sounds weird.
The quirkiness of it maybe hasn't aged as well, but I think the overall story is good. And the acting, like Jason Bateman being a creepo to Juno, is just weird.
Well, and JK, just kind of starting that JK, like, where, like, which eventually leads to Whiplash. I mean, like, come on, like, he's great as a dad. It's like, it's wild. It's like, he's a dad, and he's just a really loving dad.
Jennifer Garner.
God, I just lost her name. All I want to call her is CJ Craig. Allison Janney. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Michael Cera. What a year for Michael Cera.
I know.
I didn't realize Superbad and this were in the same year until we made this list.
Juno was like undeniably everywhere. And it was like at the beginning of what social media it starts to be. And so like everyone's like, shut your freaking gob. That's one extra sketch that can't be undid.
The banana phone.
The burger phone. The moldy peaches were everywhere. I mean, it was just... It was a force to be reckoned with, and so, while like I don't know, maybe looking back, is it like the best movie of 2007? No, but it's like
it's memorable.
It deserves to be in the conversation of like you could not be in high school and not like hear about this movie.
Number 4, we have 3:10 to Yuma, the remake. Russell Crowe, Christian Bale, Ben Foster, a lot of other people.
Logan Lerman, James Mangold, the dad of dad films. But this movie just rips. It's so good. It's like a chase movie, but also like a tale of like morality and who's a good guy and who's a bad guy. And it's just so freaking awesome. The last 15 minutes with like the battle. And then the decision of Ben Wade, it's just, oh my God.
I remember it flying by. It's nonstop.
It zooms,
and it looks great. It really is maybe my favorite kind of modern Western that we got.
It is your favorite modern Western until we get to this next movie that we're about to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Which one is it?
No Country for Old Men.
Oh, well, I'm talking about like...
That's a fun Western.
I'm talking. That's like a modern, in modern times Western. I'm talking hey, are Westerns making a comeback? And they didn't, but
because No Country did a neo-Western better than you could do any other.
Yes, so that's true. Yes, so now No Country for Old Men.
Yeah. So fun fact: when I first watched it, I actually didn't like the movie, but that's my track record with Coen Brothers movies. Because when I first watched Big Lebowski, I was like, okay, sure. But I think what is the beauty of Coen Brothers movies, you go back and rewatch them and you're like, oh, I missed this.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. And so they make structured, layered movies that on first watch you may not appreciate the beauty of it. But obviously when you go back and watch it, Roger Deakins stands out. The no music stands out.
No music at all.
Obviously,
Javier.
His haircut, nothing else. Right?
Also the Brolin comeback. Like this is Brolin like getting ready to be like, hey, I'm not just that kid from the Goonies anymore. This was your pick. This was your number one.
It's interesting that Michael didn't like it on the first try because this was the movie that got me into movies. I've said it, I think, 3 times now, but like the scene whenever Josh Brolin's waiting behind the door with a shotgun and like you can see the shadow right there. I was like, I want to do this. Like this movie's amazing. Yeah. And it's just tense. Like that shootout that follows after that, I can't think of a better shootout.
I mean, I think too it's also what's crazy is like this feels like it feels so Coen Brothers, but to me, like when you think about the Coen Brothers, it like you almost forget that this is their movie.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't. It feels so different from things like recently like a Hail Caesar or like a Big Lebowski or Raising Arizona.
It's not quirky.
It doesn't. It really. You're like, whoa, that's the guys who like made the bowling like stoner movie. Like
the people that made Lady Killers.
The Lady Killers.
Raising Arizona and
it's
Fargo.
Like, it's like it just there's nothing like funny about it. Like, it really is just like a. I mean, it is a Cormac MacArthur book. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
And it so again they're pulling from that source material, but yeah, it is so good.
Next we have Zodiac, David Fincher's perhaps his magnum opus in terms of like just doing everything that he's known for. Obviously he does like a million takes, but he also cast the right people for this movie. Without Jake Gyllenhaal, Mark Ruffalo, and Robert Downey Jr., this movie is not as great as it is.
Yeah.
And he realizes that from the jump because he puts them front and center. Like, yeah, they're coming after the Zodiac killer. But the comics writer, his journalist friend, and Mark Ruffalo, I forget what he does. He's like the cop, right?
Mark Ruffalo is the cop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Them all coming at it from a different perspective is what makes the movie great.
Yeah. The weirdness of the movie to be like, we're going to shoot the killings in the way that the people describe them, so you don't really get a clear picture of who this person is. We're gonna recreate San Francisco in the 70s, but with all CGI. But we're gonna do it in a way that doesn't look bad. The boldness to be like, hey, I know that normally we'd follow this cop, but instead we're gonna follow this cop, a journalist, and a dude who's just like likes puzzles, you know. And this puzzle dude is like, I'm gonna figure this out. And it's just so good. And really even to be like, to choose a movie or to choose a serial killer where like we still we have our idea of who it is. But to end it kind of like, we never caught the guy.
There Will Be Blood is the top of the year. PTA, if you don't know about PTA as a filmmaker, he makes comedies in ways that you don't think are comedies. And There Will Be Blood is perhaps his greatest example of this. Because if you really think about it, the movie ends on a dude in his own personal bowling alley, yelling to a dude that he hates.
Like in like decades early, like not even modern day bowling. Yeah. We're talking like how's this guy have a bowling alley?
But he's yelling to this dude about milkshakes, and he's an oil baron, and you're just like, how does this movie end on this when it's such a gripping, great drama the whole time? But that's PTA for you. But also Paul Dano, Daniel Day-Lewis give amazing performances. The scene where Daniel Day-Lewis is basically admitting to his sins to God, and Paul Dano as the pastor just like takes advantage of him in that moment to like humiliate him. Obviously he's going to get killed at the end of the movie. And then just all the side actors too in this are just really great. I should have won more Oscars than it did.
Right, which is like the big problem with 2007 is you had Zodiac was like nominated.
Yeah,
No Country for Old Men and There Will Be Blood are not only like arguably perfect, they're both very similar as they're like sort of westerny, not really, sort of neo, and then they're shot in the same area and they both have like endings.
Yeah,
like we're just ends. That's amazing. I don't know. 2007 was crazy.
What a goated year for movies.
It was goated.
It rips. It zooms. It goes.
Un esercito di prole